Did you know that a high school graduate makes $1.2 million over a lifetime? Okay, now that's just graduating high school. Of course, if you go on to get your bachelor's degree or your master's degree, you'll make more. But just think, you graduating from high school, which you will do, your juniors, your seniors, $1.2 million over a lifetime. So what we're going to do today is work on an electronic portfolio. And what this portfolio will do is it will open those doors to maybe potential employers or maybe those who you're looking to get an internship with. You can present this information and say, hey, give me the job, okay? Items that will be included in our portfolios that we'll work on are your resume, your letter of application, and any other projects or anything else that you feel really proud of that demonstrates your abilities and demonstrates your strengths for that potential job. So the first document that we'll be working on today for this unit is creating a resume. So let's get started and let's talk about what a resume is and what's included in that resume. And those will be our objectives for today. So take some time, think about your resume, what is a resume, and think about items that we'll include in our resume. Jot those down and we'll discuss those shortly. Okay, so we've discussed what we think a resume is and what we think is included in the resume. So now let's actually talk about what a resume is. Your resume is going to be your advertisement. It is going to brand you, okay? Your resume is going to be something that you present to potential employers. And on your resume, you want to include information that demonstrates your strengths and how those strengths match up with potential jobs that you're looking for. You want to make sure on your resume that you're including information that will make you stand out from the competition, of course. You want to include just enough information to get you in the door and get you in there for your interview, okay? So your resume is going to be the first thing within this portfolio that we are going to create. It will be the first thing in this portfolio that a potential employer will see. So now let's talk about items that are included in the resume itself. So we've talked about what a resume is, and we've discussed what we think is on the resume. So let's actually talk about what we are going to include on our resumes. On your resume, we're going to talk about your first section, which is your identification information. We're going to talk about your objective. We'll talk about education, and we'll also talk about your past experiences. Now the first section, which is your identification information, will be at the top of your resume. It's going to include your name, your email address, your mailing address, the physical address, your phone number. Any contact information should be included at the top of your resume in the identification information section. Your objective is going to actually list the type of position that you're looking for, or maybe certain skills that you have that are relative to the position that you're looking for. For example, an objective for my resume, being that I'm a teacher, may be something like to obtain a position in an education setting that allows me to teach high school students. That may be an objective for me. I've identified what I'm looking for and what I'm looking to do. The third section, which is your education section, will identify where you're at school, years that you've graduated from school. Your experiences section will include various information such as your previous work experience or volunteer experience that you may have. And this section is organized in a reverse chronological order, which means that you take your job that you're currently at or wherever you were at the most recently and work your way backwards and identify positions or volunteer experiences that you've had that go in reverse order. So those are the sections that we're going to include in our resumes. So some general information that you want to think about when writing your resume, or after we finish our resumes are, number one, white space. We want to make sure that we have enough white space. There's a good balance between text on the page and white space in the background. We also want to make sure that our font size is consistent throughout our resumes. We're going to use size 10 or size 12 font for our resumes. We also want to make sure that our names stand out on the resume. Okay, it can be bold, it can be in bigger font size than the rest of your text, but you want to make sure it stands out from the rest of your resume. We also want to make sure that we're using action verbs under each bulleted item or under each work experience. For example, if any tasks that you've accomplished are relevant towards putting on your resume, you want to make sure that you start out with an action verb. We want to make sure that we're also we're not using pronouns. Do not use I or me on your resume. And we also want to keep this about 1 page in length. If your resume ends up being 2 or 3 pages, think about the information that's on there and ask yourself, is this extra information going to help me get the job that I'm applying for? If the answer is no, then just leave it off of your resume. So those are some general guidelines as far as looking at your resume when we get completed that we'll review later. But now we're going to actually boot up our computers and we're going to go through and create our resumes. So now go ahead, turn on your computers, and we'll get started on that. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is open up Microsoft Word. What I want you to do is open up Microsoft Word, either it be going to Start, Programs, and open up Microsoft Word that way, or go to your desktop and open up Microsoft Word. And what we're going to do is create your resumes in Word using the Resume Wizard template. So go ahead, open that up, and let me know when you've all gotten to that point. Okay, since you're all there, what we're going to do is go to File, New, to open that up. You're going to go to Resume Wizard. Click Next to start the wizard. There will be 3 templates there, so click whatever template that you like, whichever one you think is the most professional for whichever type of position that you're looking for, and select Next. We're going to be creating an entry-level resume, meaning that we don't have that much work experience. So select entry-level and click Next. In the next information box, go ahead and type in your name information. If you notice one thing, all of this information is in what section? It's in our introduction section. So go ahead and type in your name, your address, your email address, and your phone number. And when you've done that, click Next. You want to select the boxes for your headings. We're going to select the sections that we talked about, which is the objective section, the education section, the work experience section, and any other sections that you feel will be relevant to your resume. But make sure you select at least those 3 sections. Go ahead and click Next. Since we don't want any additional headings, go ahead and click Next. We want to organize our headings. So we want the introduction section first, of course, but we want the objective section to come next. We want the education section to come after that, and we want the work experience section to come after that. So the objective section will be section 1, the education section will be section 2, and the work experience section will be section 3. And go ahead and click Next. Now you're done with the template, so go ahead and click Finish, and your actual resume should pop up on the screen.